Hi everyone, my name is Sara Valiferdowsi and I'm one of your Gero 504 online students. In this presentation, I'll be discussing about my term paper that I did for this semester, and it's about aging service management best practices for staff productivity. In this presentation, I'll be discussing the following topics, including understanding the benefits of communication and support, performance feedback, training and development, motivation and appreciation, my closing statement, and my references. For communication and support, I wanted to open up with a quote that I found very empowering and very important to the discussion about communication. So the way that it was described in the article that I read by Gerontology and Rich, communication is the lifeblood of an organization. And this is very true because within an organization, there's so much communication that has to happen between staff and employees and between the clients that it's very important to make sure that this communication is not only strong, but that it has a purpose to it as well. And the power of communication is influenced by the message, word selection, understanding, interpretation, and response. And also to make sure that when you're delivering the message, that it is clear, that it's accurate, and that you have a focused topic of what you're talking about. By doing this, you can actually avoid things like distortion or barriers that can kind of inhibit the way that you communicate with others. Next, I'd like to talk about the importance of performance feedback. Now, without guidance, the staff may continue their incorrect work habits and miss opportunities to improve their productivity. Things to consider when you're giving feedback is the delivery of the feedback has the greatest effectiveness. The content of the feedback, making sure that, once again, we're talking about accuracy, focus, and clarity when you're talking about this feedback. How often you provide the feedback. Sometimes we consider the annual performance evaluation a very important time, but if you do it periodically, you're giving more opportunities for feedback and to self-reflect and to correct yourselves before it becomes too late and before it becomes such a habit that was unchecked. And also the time of self-reflection as well too. You want to give the employee time to absorb the feedback that you have provided and practice time to implement and actually self-reflect and give self-feedback as well too, because as a manager, you need to be empowering your employees to also be able to correct themselves and have opportunities to do this as well. The next topic of discussion is about training and development. I found a really nice quote from Sikar, Padwaran, and Sig describing about what the give and take of training and development is, because if you train a staff member well enough, then a manager is able to retain them better. And not only that, you keep an employee at their highest peak of potential, which is the most beneficial aspect when you're having your own organization, especially if you're an ACM. So the quote that I'm going to say for you is, by enhancing organizational effectiveness and improving work quality, as well as by helping the organization attract and keep top quality employees, which can bring growth and development to the organizations and can improve the quality of their employees' work experience and realize the benefits of developing workers to their fullest potential. And my final best practice for staff productivity is motivation and appreciation. So another quote that I had found and I put in my article was by Furman, Orient, Steiner, and Furman again. They spoke about the structure, organizational atmosphere, job tasks, pay, potential advancements, leadership style, and personal satisfaction as major contributors to job satisfaction. So you can see that it's based on several reasons to keep an employee motivated and to make sure that you're showing ways of appreciation. Depending on what gets them motivated, you might put more emphasis in one of those aspects, because each employee, you have to treat them as an individual and something motivates them more than the other. So depending on where they are in their lives or where they are in their career, maybe it's about the job advancement that's more important to them versus pay, or maybe it's the atmosphere that they just want to have a very friendly environment to work in, to work pleasantly with their manager and also with their coworkers. But things to recognize is that you want to make sure to show recognition also by sending a powerful message as well too. So whether it's a very formal way or informal way, there's many different ways of showing recognition. And this can lead to enhance more productivity by letting them know from a manager how much you do appreciate your employees as well. For my closing statement, I just wanted to emphasize that as an aging services manager, you can implement some or all these best practices with their staff internal partners, including other departments within your organization, and external partners. You must be proactive about developing your skills for yourself and also for your employees. Be informed and aware of best practices for optimal effectiveness and success, and make sure to constantly collaborate with your team to develop and bring out the best of their performance. Because once again, they are an individual with individual goals. So make sure as a manager that you know how to customize but stay consistent and fair with your order of being a manager. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for my presentation. In the next slide, you will see my references.